So, good morning children, welcome to today's economics session, and today also I shall be continuing the same topic, basic problems of an economy. But before I continue, as usual, I will just recap what I had told yesterday. So, yesterday I had taught you about production possibility curve, and while explaining what is production possibility curve, I had also explained that the production possibility curve is based on certain assumptions. And what are those assumptions? I would like to recap. So there are four assumptions on which the production possibility curve is based. So the first assumption is that the amount of productive resources are fixed. These are very important words. The amount of productive resources are fixed. The second assumption is that no change in technology takes place. There is no change in technology taking place. And the third assumption is that there is full employment of productive resources. That is, resources are completely and fully employed. That is, employed here in the sense used. It is being utilized. And the fourth assumption is resources are not equally efficient. Equally efficient, as I had told you yesterday, equally efficient here means that with the limited amount of resources available, an economy can decide to produce only one particular type of product, and it cannot decide to produce two products at the same time because of scarcity of resources. That is what it meant here. Resources are not equally efficient in production of all goods. That is, with a limited amount of resources available, all goods cannot be produced at one time. That is, if one particular goods has to be increased in production, then the production of the other goods has to be automatically reduced. This is what production possibility curve is based upon. So, based upon these assumptions, we shall now again go for the recapping of what production possibility curve is. So, what is production possibility curve? Production possibility curve indicates that an economy can choose between two goods. An economy can choose between two manufacturing between two goods with the available resources. So this is what a production possibility curve explains. So once again, I shall explain for the benefit of the latecomers what a production possibility curve is. So here you see the graph, production possibility curve graph, and you see here that there is y-axis and there is x-axis. And two types of products are mentioned here. So on the x-axis, on the base, you have the mention made about manufacturing of butter in million kgs, and on the y-axis you have the product guns which are manufactured in thousands. Now you have the curve called the production possibility curve, and on the curve we have the points plotted as A, B, C, D, E and F. Now I have written the word extreme here, two extremes. Now extreme here means that if the economy decides to manufacture only 15,000 guns, then it will have to use the resources only for the manufacturing of 15,000 guns, and it cannot use the resource for manufacturing butter. On the other hand, if the economy decides to manufacture only butter, then the resources will have to be used only for manufacturing of butter and cannot be used for manufacturing of guns. So that is the reason I have pointed it as extreme cases. Now between the extreme cases, there are choices. Either I can go for B to C, I can manufacture B, or I can manufacture C product. Or I can manufacture C product, or I can manufacture D product, or I can manufacture D product, or I can manufacture E product. So this exact curve, production possibility curve, tells us that choices are there for the economy to decide which product to manufacture more, which product to manufacture less. And by deciding which product to manufacture more and which product to manufacture less, here the production possibility curve acts as a tool. Say for example, now suppose I want to increase the production of butter from 1 million kg to 2 million kg, then I will have to decrease the production of guns from 15,000 guns to 14,000 guns. That is, I will have to decrease by 1,000 guns. So if I decrease 1,000 guns production, then I can increase the production of butter by one more extra unit. So this is what production possibility curve explains. So I am sure children you would have understood the recap of production possibility curve, and production possibility curve is also known as transformation curve. Okay, now today I would like to go to the new segment of production possibility curve. What is that new segment? The new segment is features of production possibility curve. Features of production possibility curve. Now there are two features of production possibility curve. What are the two features? They are production possibility curve slopes downwards to the right. The production possibility curve always slopes downwards to the right. This is one feature. And the second feature is production possibility curve is concave. It is concave. It is concave. That is, it bulges outside. So anything bulging outside is concave. Anything that is going inside is convex. So production possibility curve is always concave in shape. So these are the two features of production possibility curve. Now, with understanding these two features of production possibility curve, now we should first of all understand the first feature. Why does it slope downward? Why does the curve slope downward? The curve slopes downward just to indicate that if production of one particular goods has to be increased, if production of one particular goods has to be increased, then the production of one particular goods has to be decreased. So that is why the curve bulges outside, and that is why that is why the curve slopes downward to the right. Second, the production possibility curve is concave. Now, what does concavity of the production possibility curve indicate? It indicates that if we want to increase the production of butter from 1 million kg to 2 million kgs, then we will have to reduce the production of 15,000 guns to 14,000 guns. So here please try to understand the most important point is that the cost per unit, that is the cost involved in manufacturing that 1,000 guns, is being transferred to increase the butter production by one more extra unit. So this transfer of the cost from the guns, transfer of the cost involved in manufacturing of 1,000 guns towards the manufacturing of butter by one more extra unit is called opportunity cost. So the production possibility curve is concave because it explains the opportunity cost. Okay. Now another thing which I would like to explain to you, what does this production possibility curve teach us? See, in this graph you have an indicator, you have a plotting inside the graph, that is inside the curve. Inside the curve you have a plotting called H, and outside the curve you have a plotting called K. Now what does this plotting called K and what does this plotting called H indicate? Now here the plotting called K outside the curve indicates that an economy, because of its limited resources, because of scarcity of resources, cannot go beyond the curve. It cannot go beyond the curve in manufacturing of products. So it is beyond. It is beyond the curve. So it cannot be manufactured. So here the plotting called K, it indicates the problem of scarcity. So here, the curve indicates that because of scarcity of resources, the economy cannot go beyond the curve, and it cannot manufacture. It cannot manufacture at the point called K. So here the problem of scarcity is explained, and here inside the curve there's a plotting called H. There's a plotting called H. Now what does this plotting called H indicate? This plotting called H indicates that resources are available, but these resources are underused. It is not efficiently used. So what does this two plotting H and K indicate? That an economy cannot go out of this curve. It cannot go out of this curve to increase its production, and at the same time it cannot allow the available resources to be go unused. It cannot allow the available resources to go unused. So this is the indication that plotting K and plotting H indicates in this graph. So it also gives us a conclusion that neither can it go beyond the curve, neither can it allow the resources to be underutilized. Therefore, an economy can only use this production possibility curve to decide which product to produce more, which product to produce less. If the economy decides to produce more of guns, then it has to reduce the production of butter. If the economy decides to produce more of butter, then it has to increase the production. It has to decrease the production of guns. So, problem of choice. So that is why, because resources are scarce and because economy cannot go beyond this curve, at the same time because resources are scarce and it cannot be allowed to go inefficient in its use, so the economy has to go on the curve, and because of the scarcity of resources, the choice arises on the curve. So either economy can choose to produce A or B or C or E or F. So this is how the production possibility curve comes to our help as a tool. So production possibility curve, it explains about the scarcity, it explains about the choice. Then another more, what to produce. So because of the scarcity of resources, the choice arises. So the economy can understand whether to produce more of B or more of C. Now the last, full and efficient use of resources. Again, as I said, the last point also can be explained through production possibility curve. See, the economy cannot go beyond the curve here to manufacture products, and it cannot allow the available resources to be used inefficiently. Therefore, if we consider this plotted point H, it means that the resources are not efficiently used, and this point K indicates that we cannot go beyond the curve. So these 4 points, that is problem of scarcity, problem of choice, what to produce, and fuller and efficient use of resources, is explained through this production possibility curve. Okay, now let me go on to the 4th section. Now, assuming that there is economic growth, what is the presentation of the diagram? What is the presentation of the diagram? See, in the previous assumptions, I had already told that amount of productive resources are fixed. Technology, there is no change at all. Then there is full employment of productive resources. Then I told that resources are not equally efficient in production of all these goods. Now, under this condition, when the economy grows, then there is an entire change in these assumptions. So here in this diagram, we find the y-axis and the x-axis. And in x-axis we find butter in million kgs, and we find the production of guns in thousands. So here this original curve indicates that there is no economic growth. The economy is only making choices with the help of this curve. And now you see the dotted lines. The dotted lines represents that the economy is grown. It has already grown. So when the economy has grown, now the economy can think going beyond this curve to the point K. That is economy grows when economy grows, it means that more of resources are available. And when an economy grows, it indicates that there is an development in technology. And at the same time, when an economy grows, it also indicates that the productive resources are utilized completely and efficiently. So This dotted curve indicates all these changes. This dotted curve indicates all these changes. So, with the economic growth, we find that the production possibility curve shifts from the original position to still uppermost position, and this uppermost position is indicated by the dotted curves. So, children, this is all I wanted to explain today, and this particular content called production possibility curve is very important from examination point of view. Thank you, children. I hope you must have understood what I had explained today. Thank you so much.